Yo, what's going on, fellas? Six Bats Dunga back again with another video. And today it's time to read the hot take / predictions that you guys left on my community tab. Now, chapter 19 is set to drop on the 19th of February, and we start getting sneak peeks and leaks 1 week before the official drops. So this video is supposed to drop on the 11th, hopefully. That means we're gonna get spoilers sometime tomorrow. So before we get into the video, I do videos like this every single month, and these type of videos do take a bit longer than my normal ones. So if you could just drop a like on the video, I would very much appreciate it. But other than that, enjoy the video. So the first prediction we have this may be a little flashback between Arya, Shinki, and Yato, since Arya ended off the chapter describing the sword they both made to counter Iron Sand. Honestly, stumped on what will happen to Konohamaru, I think Matsuri might regret snapping the way she did and really switch emotions quickly. I actually like this prediction, although it doesn't seem like the most exciting way to kick off chapter 19. As long as it doesn't last for more than a couple pages, I'm fine with a little flashback to explain how Arya's attack works. Not everyone that reads Boruto is going to know what's going on all the time. We have to look at it from a casual standpoint. Like me and many other of my colleagues and supporters, we like to deeply analyze the series to a point where we pretty much have an idea of how techniques work before it gets explained in the actual story. Let's take a dive back to chapter 2, right? The Uzuhiko was analyzed all month leading up to chapter 3. The Uzuhiko was analyzed all month leading up to chapter 3, where we actually seen how it works. The situation is quite different, but it's pretty obvious this is how the chapter is going to start. You have a new technique many of the viewers want to see in action, and in comparison to the Uzuhiko, there is multiple ways you can explain the technique to the readers. You see how they did it with Boruto and the Uzuhiko? They had Boruto basically explain it to Code while he was experiencing the symptoms of getting hit with the Rasengan. This was the best method to go about explaining such a technique. Now, it could be different with the sand sealing blade technique. The best way to explain the technique could be to have a little flashback, maybe showing a time where Arya and Shinki first developed it, or the first time he used it in action. Especially after he said that he never thought he would have to use the jutsu that he created for them. A flashback could very much be into play. So far, I agree with this prediction. So when we look at the situation between Konohamaru and Matsuri, I think because she is experiencing some strong emotional feelings right now, it's gonna come down to whether Konohamaru can calm her down correctly or somehow neutralize the situation. I don't think there's a scenario where Konohamaru can restrain her or eliminate her if need be. The thing with Matsuri is, during the beginning of chapter 17, she was experiencing an emotion that she had never felt before, and this really set her off, and you can see that. It made her act way differently than normal, and in the same day, in the same hour she experienced love, she also experienced heartbreak and jealousy. More strong emotions. Now, I don't know exactly how this will affect her, but the only way for Konohamaru to come out alive is for him to exploit and take advantage of these feelings that she is experiencing. And history shows that Shinju may be able to be manipulated once again. With Ryu, it may be a bit harder, but Matsuri, yeah, Konohamaru can turn the situation around with the correct wordplay. Okay, now next prediction. Konohamaru about to be Matsuri's dinner. Although I believe Konohamaru can turn this ship around, it's still a possibility he could be devoured. You see, the difference between the Ryu situation for Matsuri is that Ryu isn't necessarily targeting none of Sarada and the others, but the same can't be said with Matsuri. The one that she wants to devour is right there. Is there a world where I think Matsuri just crashes out on some crazy X-type timing? Yes, it's extremely possible. If she has some type of crazy possessive nature to her, I can see her trying to devour Konohamaru next chapter so he can be a part of her forever. I can see a lot of ways the story can go. Boruto stepping in to save him, Konohamaru fighting Matsuri until help arrives, even Konohamaru dying. There's a bunch of ways this encounter can go. So much so that it's basically impossible to predict. So I guess we'll see once the time comes. I'ma just say my prediction is that Boruto will most likely step in and save him, or maybe she'll calm down by something Konohamaru tells her. Momoshiki's appearance, even Momoshiki's name itself, is a hot take. Now, Momoshiki is a big name to look out for soon, but how can he be implemented in the next chapter? I can really only see one possibility. I said in a past video, since he technically qualifies as a singularity of fate, the way Momoshiki is gonna make an impact in the story today is by influencing the timeline to get to a specific outcome that'll allow him a greater chance at taking over Boruto's body for good. So he'll do little things that'll lead him there. So one way I can see him having a role in this next chapter is him being the one influencing Boruto to make a move to Tsunagakure. He would be the one to tell Boruto that his friends are in danger in a last-ditch effort to draw him into battle. For example, since Momoshiki has a history of predicting Boruto's future, his word does have some merit to it. Other than that, I don't think Momoshiki will make his return in chapter 19. He's been quiet for the past 3 years. So if he reawakens, it's definitely gonna be a big event that'll shift some narratives in the story. I think the chapter will focus more on Team 7, plus the Sand Shinobi versus the Shinju, and maybe at the end we get the reveal of Sarada's MS, or with Kawaki getting his limiters removed, declaring his strength to the audience, likely more with Konohamaru and Matsuri. So I think this is the safest option, and I don't mean safest as in story terms, I mean safest as in like, according to the direction of the story, this is the outcome that's most likely to happen. But when it comes to Sarada, I'm not really worried about her MS right now. I have no desire to talk about it, nor am I banking on her showing her MS. I'm on thin ice with Sarada. She was actually going to be getting a video from me very soon, but not a good one. I've decided to wait to see what she does next chapter until I eviscerate her, but yeah, I'm getting tired of waiting until she shows us that she's on tier with the more stronger characters in the story. Like, I see it all the time through the community. People talk about how strong Sarada is. Oh, she surpassed Sasuke and all that. She's on tier with the stronger characters in the series. It's about time she shows that. I'm tired of hearing about hypotheticals. I'm tired of hearing about theories. I want to see her do something that'll convince me that she's stronger than these characters. Because we could say that based on her potential, but she has to actually go out there and do it. Potential isn't the same as accomplishments. So yeah, enough with Sarada until she actually shows us something. So moving on, I mentioned this in the last video, Kawaki getting his limiters removed is pretty much a guarantee for next chapter. It just depends on what direction Ikimoto wants to go, whether he wants to reveal it towards the beginning of the chapter or near the end to carry over the momentum and suspense to chapter 20. The power-up aligns quite well with what's going on in the story, because I think Kawaki showing off his new crazy power against the Shinju in the Land of Wind is probably the way to go. You have this reveal as big as Kawaki getting his limiters removed. What better way to show the audience his new power than to put him against the main villains of the story? So moving on to the next comment, I think that Sarada and Mitsuki will try and reason with Ryu, but because Yodo can't control her bloodlust, he will have no choice but to fight, and Konohamaru might have to fight Matsuri, all while trying to calm her down. Then Shikamaru might give him advice on what to say to calm her down, and she calms down, and her and Konohamaru hear noises from Team 7 and the Sand Ninja fighting Ryu. They then go and see what's going on. Ryu explains to Matsuri while he's doing it, and she might join in. So like I said before, I halfway agree with this because I believe Konohamaru is in a worse situation than Ryu and the others, but he also has the better chance of calming his situation down. Hopefully they were prepared for this to happen. I don't care if the other outcome had an 85% chance of happening. Since that didn't happen, it's wise to come up with a strategy for a scenario for the outcome that had like a 15% chance of happening too. And in this case, I guess this would be the 15% chance outcome. So to not have a backup plan just in case this outcome happened would be Koji's fault. It's definitely his fault for being ill prepared. But either way, it doesn't really matter if Konohamaru calms Matsuri if Sarada and the others can't do the same with Ryu. And since I just don't think that happens, there's probably no going back to how things were before. The Shinobi blew their cover. So now the Shinju know their true intentions. It'll be real silly, even more silly than usual, for the Shinju to just forgive them again. Next chapter is going to be primarily how do they counter the mission failure, and what can Shikamaru and KASHIN Koji do to get everyone out that situation with as little casualties as possible. Kawaki will get more than just his original power back. He'll get other enhancements like scientific ninja tools and even Shibai cells for another Shinjutsu on top of his full power. He'll surpass Ishiki and Baryon Naruto. I do see a way for Kawaki to be able to surpass characters like Ishiki and Baryon Naruto. I understand that the narrative is that Kawaki is supposed to be the next Ishiki, but him having all of Ishiki's abilities plus having the body that he has, it basically gives him endless possibilities on getting stronger. Let's say Kawaki does get Shibai cells from Amato. That completely changes the game, and it extends Kawaki's potential for power extremely. Amato will make sure that Kawaki is prepared to properly handle the Shinju. He knows his hopes and dreams depend on if he's able to survive this battle. I do believe if there's a way for Kawaki to somehow surpass Naruto or Ishiki, it'll be through Amato for sure. That's how I really feel on the situation. Watch, Kawaki's gonna end up being stronger than he was supposed to be originally because of Amato. Now, Kawaki is a symbol of Amato's passion to get his daughter back. So if there's a way for Amato to make Kawaki stronger, he's gonna do it for sure, without question. Kashin Koji will try to separate Momoshiki and Boruto by sealing Momoshiki away, which Boruto could use to his advantage to use full karma mode without any risk. That's probably why we saw Boruto master the karma in Boruto episode 1, maybe not in chapter 19, but I have a feeling it will happen. This is not pertaining to chapter 19, but I like this prediction, so I decided to include it in the video. But I don't know if that's a possibility as of right now. Since Momoshiki and Boruto's souls are both intertwined with each other, there's probably not a way for his soul to be sealed away, and I don't think Koji is capable of sealing away Momoshiki anyway. The only way Boruto will truly gain control over his karma is if he takes care of Momoshiki himself. He has to find a way to suppress the evil in his soul, which is that of Momoshiki. There's ways to go about it, such as the Jogan, but we're so far removed from that, it's not really going to be a big thing in the story for at least another 20 to 30 chapters at bare minimum. Even Boruto in the other timeline, it took him about 6 years to master something like space-time ninjutsu. So the karma being more complicated of a concept, I don't think he'll ever truly master the use of his karma, but he'll find a way to use his power without as much risk as it includes right now. So right now I feel most of the community is pretty ready for Kawaki to get his limiters removed. I had a bunch of other comments, but they more or less just repeated past comments over again. So to save us time, and for me repeating myself, I think I'll end it off here. In Sunagakure, there can be a plethora of possibilities, from Boruto stepping in and saving everyone, to Konohamaru getting devoured. So I think that's a more unpredictable part of the chapter, but unless something amazing happens, like we end up getting Boruto fighting off against Jura, then I suspect Kawaki is going to end up getting his shine next chapter. So one more thing before I go, I want you to predict who's going to be on the cover of chapter 19. It can range from Shinki, Amato, Akabe, even Kawaki again. Or is there someone else you had in mind? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it in the near future, go ahead and leave that like, which would tell me to keep going with these type of videos, and subscribe. We're like 100 subs away from 9K, so let's see if we can hit that pretty soon, preferably before chapter 19. I don't expect it, but if we could, that would be simply amazing, man. But enough of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.